Hi, I'm George with Acme Guitar Works. I want to show you this guitar that we're hot rodding. We just finished it, and it's going to be available for sale on our website as of November 2011. By the time you see this video, the guitar may be sold, but we hot rod guitars like this all the time. So if you're interested in a hot rodded Mexican Fender guitar, we'd be happy to do one for you. This guitar is sold new. We're an authorized Fender dealer, and it's sold new with a full factory warranty, but we've done some nice upgrades to it. The Road Worn Player series differs from the original Road Worn series in a couple of ways, and I won't go into all of the differences, but one of the things that really makes a difference in terms of how it feels to the player is that they use the modern 9.5-inch fretboard radius rather than the vintage 7.25-inch fretboard radius, and that means that you can get the action down a little bit lower on these guitars with a flatter radius than you can on the vintage guitars, and the original Road Worns had the vintage radius. The guitar comes with nice tall frets, which most modern players prefer over short frets. They're easier to bend against. You can kind of get up under the strings a little bit better and bend. The other difference with this guitar over the original Road Worn and most of the vintage reissue guitars, those guitars and the original Fenders from the 50s and 60s, they came with a 2 7/32 inch spacing, and that's from the center of the E string to the center of the E string was 2 7/32 inch. Once they started doing the American series guitars in the 80s, those guitars come with a narrower spacing of 2 1/16, and this guitar has the 2 1/16. So this guitar with the 2 1/16 spacing and the flatter fretboard radius is going to feel more familiar to players who are used to modern Fender guitars like American Standards, American Strat Plus Deluxe, Strat Ultra, and all of those things. So this guitar comes from Fender with a single humbucker setup, and they use Texas Specials in the neck and middle, and they use a Duncan Pearly Gates in the bridge. We left the stock pickups on this guitar. Usually on these hot rodded guitars we swap the pickups out, but on this case we kept the stock pickups. But we've completely rewired everything down here. We've changed the component values and some of the switching options so that everything is optimized for a single humbucker setup. And if you want to read more detail about that, you can check it out on our website. We don't really have time to talk about it all on the video, but essentially it's just going to optimize the guitar tonally. The other thing we did is we added a little push button switch here. I don't know if you can really see the push button on the video because the button is black, but it's right there, and when I press it, it's toggling between two settings. It works in the 4 position when I've got these two pickups on, and in the 2 position where I've got these 2 coils on. Other than that, in the 1, 3, and 5 positions, the push button doesn't do anything. But in the 2 and the 4, it's toggling between parallel, which is the normal way that pickups are wired from Fender, and it toggles between parallel and series wiring. Same 2 pickups, but just in series rather than parallel. And what that does is it makes the guitar sound fuller and warmer. So here's the traditional sound of the 4 position, the neck in the middle. When I engage the switch, you heard it got a little bit louder. That's series, and you hear it series, parallel, series, parallel. So the series setting basically it's hum canceling. Both the series and the parallel settings are hum canceling, but it just gives you a little bit fuller, warmer, bigger sound. It'll push your amp a little bit harder, and it's just another tonal option. And again, it works in the 2 position. In the 2 position on this guitar, you've got the middle position, middle pickup, and you've got the slug coil of the humbucker. So these 2 coils on together. Again, a hum canceling combination. Parallel right now. Engage the switch. series. Parallel, series. Parallel, series. So that's what we've done to the wiring. Some of the other improvements that we did to the guitar, we changed the tremolo block. The original Fender Strats came with a solid steel inertia block in the tremolo, and Fender still uses those in some guitars, but on these guitars they come with a cast zinc block, and so we replaced that with a solid steel Callaham block, and it just gives the it's got more mass. It's just more musical. It's got, the guitar rings a little bit better. It's just a better material tonally to make the bridge block out of. And then the other thing that we've done on this guitar is we have done a fret level crown and polish. So we level the frets so that we can get the action down as low as possible and the guitar will play as well as it can. And then we crown the frets so that they're nice and round on top, and then we polish them so we get rid of scratches. So when you bend the strings, they're smooth to bend across the fret. And the guitar is just really comfortable to play. In fact, the action on this guitar is really low. We've adjusted the nut slots to get the action down nice and low here. You can play a bar chord, play this F chord, and it's just really easy. It takes very little pressure to hold it down because the nut slots are adjusted properly. And it's hard to imagine anybody would play this guitar and not think, man, this guitar really plays nicely. So here's how it is tonally. Here's the bridge pickup. And here's the two position. That's the parallel setting. Here it is in series. Here's the middle. Here's the 4 position, neck and middle, in parallel, the way it's normally wired from Fender. And here it is, the same position, but in series. And here is the neck pickup.